Okay, so here we go. We're going to kick it off, another Good Guys podcast, because number one was such a great hit, instant classic. I think people, like Blanchester Wide were all about it, and I hear you, folks. We're going to bring it on back here for another round, and we'll see. Maybe if this gains in popularity like I'm seeing it happening already, this could turn into quite a thing as we go through the rest of the year in the 2018 Good Guys season. Speaking of, it's opening week, and in honor of opening week, I can't think of a better guest to bring on for this week's podcast than the coach himself. So we'll dive right on into it here. Welcome to the program, Coach JV. Let's hear it.
I'm just glad to be here, man. Hey, I've heard, I'm not making this up, they're actually talking about doing a 30 for 30 on Garrett and the podcast from last week.
Wow, the 30 for 30 just over that podcast.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think there's enough material there. I think there's no problem with that.
I mean, I think ESPN and the Disney Corporation in general are probably getting pretty hard up. They can try to make a 30 for 30 out of a lot of things right now. Hey, did you catch the Ric Flair 30 for 30? How about that, huh?
I did not. I did not know.
Oh.
Are you being serious?
No, oh yeah, man, totally. They do yourself a service and go check that out. Just press pause on the podcast and go check it out right now because you're not going to be disappointed. I'll just tell you, the amount of women that he claims to have slept with is staggering, even by Ric Flair standards. I'm assuming that with Ric Flair it should be up in the high numbers, but it's like, do the math. Like, he's got to have spent some time in his life doing other things. But just go check that out. Before we get too far into this, I thought I'd just bring in, just so you know, you're not the only guest on the program today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm intimidated now.
Guess who it is?
Was in bed.
Guess who it is?
Hey, Coach. It's your favorite shortstop.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't we have another one?
What?
Don't we have another one?
Say what?
Don't we have another shortstop?
Oh, my God. What an idiot.
Hey, no, it's great. We actually both had a couple questions for you today, and I'm gonna launch right into the first one here. What are you seeing as far as your opening day lineup this year?
I got it. Rob Kokel for Gold Glove.
Rob Kokel for Gold Glove. You know what? Someone asked me a question today. They said, what can the coach do this year to ensure that Rob Kokel wins the Gold Glove?
Extensive surgery and a super sub.
Wow, super. No, that's good. Maybe like another Rob Kokel jersey to stick on like Bob Ooten or something.
on Alan Breen would be an improvement.
Who do you lead off this year?
Okay, I'm probably gonna just go with regular old Miller Lite and then save the fireball for deeper in the innings.
Yeah, well, that's good. Hey, Sticks, I think you...
Coach, is it true that you're going to bat Nick P. leadoff this season?
That's an ugly rumor. Absolutely. I've got a plan, and this is real. I actually have this written down so we can actually do this. In an attempt to thwart Nick P. from winning the P award, I've got a plan where he's going to play 9 of the 10 positions on the field, but then in one game, I'm going to have Joe
that's
play
going to be a mistake.
all 10 positions in one inning. And then Joe thus will sweep the P award away from P himself.
Wow. I mean, that's really something.
It can be done. I did the math. It actually can be done. Did you want a serious answer to your question?
Yeah, absolutely. Here, well, Sticks said he was...
Hey, Coach, where are you batting your favorite shortstop this week?
Got to have one before I can find out where to put him in that position. No, I'm thinking maybe...
Come on, Coach. That's horseshit, and you know it.
I'll keep your ego intact. I was thinking maybe Farney leading off, actually.
Really?
Yeah, 26 walks? Jesus, wow. I mean, he's like the Julio Franco of the good guys.
So did Julio Franco ever lead off?
No, he was just old. That's all I meant by that.
That's actually, I had another writer today asked me that kind of question. It's, do you think that eventually that hanging around with all these younger men is going to eventually catch up to you?
And I could cause them to get older? I think it's happening every day.
Was that what it make it feel okay?
Well, there's some sort of word. I can't remember the German word for like taking pleasure in other people having pain. And whatever the German word is, yeah, I'm down with that.
No, so actually here I have a good question for you here.
Yeah.
If you could pick one good guy throughout history to plug into the lineup for this year to make this like a championship roster, who would you pick?
Wow. Okay, so does this? I can pick a specific year person too. Like I could. Pick
Oh
like
yeah, absolutely.
2014 Joe as opposed to the chucklehead I've got now, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, launch angle, man. Think launch angle.
And you still miss a urine. A pre-departure Nick Kelly would certainly help.
Pre-departure Nick. So like not like Nick Kelly now. Like Nick Kelly now probably.
No.
Yeah.
No. He's got like a wife and dogs and shit. I think he even has a kid or something.
I think when you sire children, like part of your I almost said you lose some of your spunk. I think that's actually incredibly accurate, isn't it?
I do laundry, so it comes out okay.
Ah, man, none of this is going to make it to the air.
I'm tempted to say Ryan Fisher on the answer to your question, but we have some pretty decent singles hitters. If you look at the stats, we have people that get on base. We just don't always bring them around, and that's why I'm looking for somebody who can like a little pop, a little Randall.
Maybe a little like I guess you could say we're trying to bring the Randall out in all of us.
Yeah. Is there a medicine for that?
Yeah, maybe. Well, there should at least be a supplement.
Exactly the point. I wonder who could we talk?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Hey, do you remember that time when Ryan didn't make it to the game because he got beat up and robbed that week?
I still am not sure that that's real. I remember the event and the story, and I remember the black eye he had.
A black eye he had.
And the injury he had.
Oh, yeah, his eye. Oh, yeah. No, actually, no. I think he was really serious because he was really upset because they tore his jeans. And I think they were like those really tight, fancy jeans. They were fancy jeans. And I think he was a little upset that they got tore. So I think I could see that in his eye. He wasn't messing around. Like, this really happened.
So, he must have been like this heckle and jive guy, because like he was like such a nice guy, but then like maybe get a thimble full of tequila in him, and he just goes crazy.
Maybe, I could see he had it in him. It's like one of those type of guys, like, he's all cool, but then you touch his hair, and then shit gets real.
You better bring product, or else you ain't leaving. You ain't going home.
Hey, so here's another question, because it's fun to look back at the opening day lineup and the opening day roster of the years gone by, and the people we started the year with but didn't finish the year with. It seems inevitable. We always end up losing somebody along the way because either, I don't know, they moved to Florida for a month or forever. Or they die. That's happened before too. Name one person, if you were worried, if there was a flight risk on this team, who's most likely not to finish the season?
Let me call the Claremont County Sheriff's Department. I'll have that answer for you real soon. I gotta be honest with you. I don't see it this year. I feel like if you read my blog post today, you would. Oh, Jesus. How much I got yelled at, and then you poo-poo it. If you read the blog post, I feel like we're gelling as a team. I feel like that we're coming together and people are like feeling it, like a doctor during a physical. Like it's like working. But if I had to directly answer your question,
which I would like, yes.
But it'd be a first. I hope Bobby O doesn't get hurt.
Wow. I mean, when you put that on a guy like that, that's terrible.
Yeah, I also the real problem is I put him on the cover of Madden Good Guys 18. You know the curse. Wow,
yeah, that's a curse.
Yeah.
I could see him, and he spends a lot of time flying over the ocean, too.
Yeah, he just might not come back someday.
Hey, another quick question from Sticks here. I think he had one.
Is there any truth to the rumor that you are Mike Castle's illegitimate father?
Hell no, he hit a home run.
Well, I mean, they say sometimes you pass the power, it skips a generation.
Yeah, that's the explanation. Have you met my dad? No, that's not true.
I believe he was referring to his testicles.
They skip a generation?
Because you have not always been the manager of the Good Guys. You know, obviously, different iterations and different generations of the Good Guys' managerial talents have come and gone. And we take a look back at your record as a coach. It's actually a kind of a glaringly obvious connection, I think, of sorts. I've heard a lot of people refer to you as the Marty Schottenheimer of slow pitch softball.
I'm the Tito Francona of slow pitch softball.
It is more like Marty Schottenheimer.
I take the reins and immediately get a championship trophy. I think it's good to remember that. When
was the first year you started coaching?
We won a trophy. It was not just.
I never would have expected that from someone like you.
What's that?
I don't know what he said there.
It was a Charlie Brown adult comment, I think.
Oh.
Listen, Coach, you could lead the 1927 Yankees straight to mediocrity.
The 54 Indians would beat them, and under my tutelage, they'd beat them even worse. What are you guys talking
I
about?
believe he was referring to his testicles.
It's you guys are talking about, probably you're talking about winning percentage, which I think we all know is bullshit. I think really what you have to look at is wins above replacement.
Oh, you know what? It's about time that war comes to the beer league softball world.
Well, yeah, because if you look at how many games I won through my managerial expertise that we otherwise would have lost, I think that's a true measure of a man.
That's a great question. So think back in your obviously your brilliant history of coaching the Good. What is one of the best managerial moves you've ever made?
Probably Farney. I'm proud of how he's come along. We needed somebody, and he started getting on base, and he suddenly became able to catch a ball there at first base and stuff, and it kind of worked out there. I actually haven't made that many moves.
I was say that sounds like more of a general manager move, like going and acquiring Farney. Or are you talking about how you're utilizing his talent on the field?
Things started coming together at first base. But yeah, you're right. That was a GM kind of move. I was super proud of the job I did getting Bobby O one batter to pitch to round out his career moves. That was kind of a powerful thing. I thought it was an emotional moment for me.
Yeah, it was. Horrible mistake, but yeah. And we learned something.
And who would have known that someone at Expressway Park, A, knew the rules, and 2, actually adhered to them? That's the thing that blew me away. Otherwise, we would have done things differently all along.
A and 2. All right. Yeah, those are 2 great letter point numbers.
That's what I'm here for, man. How about, here in a global sense, how about lobbying for the 1 pinch runner per inning rule? I mean, that was pretty much me that made that happen.
Wow, yeah, the JV rule.
Yeah, and extended my career way beyond where anybody wanted it to be extended.
No, you know what? I think that rule was made. You know what? Myra's always had a crush on you.
She called me again.
Go on.
Well, I can't talk more about it because Tracy's in the room.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, you guys got game time is 7:30 Thursday, but for me it's 6:45. It's 7:29.
That's terrible. Hey,
yeah.
Another great question here, and this may be a real stumper for you.
Okay.
Which of these 2 would you consider to be a greater hit? Ben's walk-off home run from last year,
yeah.
or Jimmy B. watches?
Wow. I feel like I don't have to choose. I'm pretty sure that as Ben was quasi-rounding the bases, he was singing that song in his head.
In his head? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. I think the answer has to be the actual hit, because if we're, the home run, because it's much more rare than Ben singing that damn song.
Yeah, I think we've heard it all a few times now.
And we haven't really seen Ben hit a whole ton, so.
Just a couple more questions here for you, Coach, because I know you got a lot to get to preparing for the season and all. So I do appreciate you taking the time.
I'm exhausted. I'm happy to sit down and talk to you.
That's great. You probably are thinking about losing some spunk.
That's why I'm exhausted.
Let me ask you this. Give me like one of your top good guy moments in history.
My second favorite good guy moment of all time was striking out 6 batters, 3, and then striking out the side in a game. By the way, tomorrow night, Thursday night, the winds are supposed to be up in the mid-teens. It could be a great night for the knuckleball. I'm looking for some strikeouts. But probably my favorite moment that I was actually involved with was one time during the 2013-14 season, and I was playing third base and Ben was playing shortstop, and we were playing against Fast 2 on field number 4. And it was a close game, and they had runners on first and second, and they hit a ball between Ben and I. And I dove for it, and it skipped off my glove, and Ben then dove backwards and caught it. But then, there was nowhere to throw the ball. So Benji was just sitting on the ground, and he just lobbed the ball towards third base. And I was scrambling back on my hands, like crawling, and caught the ball over my shoulder and tagged the base before the runner got there. And that was like my favorite play that I've ever been involved with.
Nice. And it sounds like a shame that wasn't on Glasses Cam somewhere.
Oh, that would have been incredible. Yeah, even if I wasn't wearing them. Yeah, we wound up winning that game. Oh, no. What the hell am I talking about? That's my second favorite. Oh, my God. My first favorite was fall of 16. The 6th inning, I was pitching, and that's the game that, Jacob blocked the guy at third base on the final out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. To seal the championship, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, it was. The inning before that, in the 6th inning, when I was pitching, they hit a ball that almost took my head off, and I actually caught it. It was like the hardest hit I've ever fielded, and it would have killed me. And then when I came up to bat that inning, I had what turned out to be the game-winning RBI. So that was actually my number one favorite that I was involved with.
I think I do remember a lot of the details. That was a big way to finish a year. You go down all the way down to the wire like that and finish it off with a nice defensive play or two. That was a big game. Think of the cool moments in games like that. All right.
Yeah, and my least favorite was when we won the championship, and then Myra invented another game against Yingling Offspring that we wound up losing, and where the hell did that come from? And I hate you all now.
Wow. I would think that you and Myra are tighter than that after losing some spunk.
She's not tight after I'm done.
Damn it.
Do you remember that? Did we
No. Oh God, no, I wasn't there. Oh, wait, for that, yeah.
weren't you in charge of photography? Okay.
That sounds right. Okay, hey, a couple more quick questions here. First off, obvious question: Sultan of Stroll. Who's gonna take it this year between you and Farney?
Wow. Okay, the dude's a rising star, man.
Or maybe there's a dark horse out there we don't know about. Who's the interested third party that's going to dethrone the two of you?
Well, as Nick P ages, he was third with walks, and as he gets older, he might need to do it more and more. I want to go all ballsy and say, I'm going to do it. But I mean, let's be honest. Farney's his star is on the rise, and my eye at the plate last year was not my best. So if it's going to be me, it's going to have to be a comeback year. If I had money in this, I'd probably bet on Farney.
Wow. Yeah, that's respect, man.
You gotta, you know what I'm saying? And unless his name is Tom Brady, I'm gonna be honest.
So final thought here, just very general and open here, 2018 predictions. What do you see happening with some individuals? Maybe some, what do you see happening with the team this year? Maybe even go so bold as to predict a final, maybe like a win-loss record this year for the team. What's your predictions for 2018?
Here are some predictions. Number one, the new Little Miami Brewing team has no idea what they're getting themselves into and is way over their head and is going to get crushed in Division I. But we'll never see it because we won't play those guys. In our league, I predict that in the spring season, the good guys will set a record with their 200th franchise win.
That's solid. I think we're 4 wins away, correct?
and I feel like we can do that. I feel like spring and fall are going to be our strong seasons. Summer is going to be a little bit weak this year, but not much. I think we're definitely have a better record than last year. I'm saying 20 and 10 because that's 5 games over 500. 500 would be 15 and 15. So 5 games over.
I don't know that our math is okay. That's great. Something's missing here. So okay, so great. So wow, that's quite a prediction. So you think the good guys will be that dominating this year? You know, to think back, I think that it was what year was that? The 2014 team that went 22-9?
21-9. Yep.
21-9. That was an impressive year. You think that? So what do you think about that? The 2014 team 21-9 facing the 2018 good guys. Do they have a shot to touch that number?
Yeah, I think so. See, I think that one thing I'll say, the talent is there. The second thing I'm going to say is, just sometimes, I know this is going to come as a shock to you, we're just batshit goofy sometimes. But this year, since we know each other, and we're not going to get thrown off our game or shocked when Donger starts screaming shit about going ass to mouth in the middle of the field, and we all forget how to play ball because we can't believe he said that in front of children. I think we know how to handle ourselves this year, and I think that's gonna result in more wins.
I believe he was referring to his testicles.
yeah, that's ass and mouth. Other predictions. I know it's going to be hard to believe. I believe that Robbie, before the end of the season, Robbie will have another tattoo, and will karaoke turn the page.
Wow. Hey, you know there's been a lot of talk about launch angle this year in the spring already. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, if some of your players have been focusing on launch angle this year, what do you think that we're going to see out of that?
The term fake news comes to mind. Actually, I was hearing a lot of rumors about batting left-handed. Kind of curious how that's going to play out.
It's bold. I guess the results will show. So, hey, you know what? This has been pretty solid. I think I'm going to have a suggestion here, or at least maybe a proposal. How about we start maybe looking into some post-game podcasts, just quick 5-minute recaps as we get into the year here. Maybe a little bit of podcasting from the porch. Oh, a porch podcast. How about that, huh?
I'm ready for that. That's going to be yes. Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. I was also thinking it would be really cool if we could bring Halloween masks and put them on 3 different people each game and have them try to run the bases and see who wins. Kind of like they do at Reds games. I think that'd be awesome.
Well, I think any type of hired talent that we can bring in, strippers, clowns, jugglers, any of that would be a good way to step it up. Maybe our 200th victory would be a good way to spice that up.
Oh, yeah, we really need to, First of all, let me go back. The podcast, the game wrap-up podcast, I think are a great idea. And I'm totally down with that. Since I have to sit still and take 5 minutes to try to get my shoes off each game, I think we should
oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'm pretty much trapped there anyway, so we can do that. But we should try to really play it up for the 200th game and try to get fans appreciating it.
That's going to happen. All right. Well, hey, let's wrap this up because it's gone on much longer than anyone else would have probably even listened to if we still have anyone listening. I really appreciate your time today here for the podcast. I'm really excited for the season. I think it sounds like you are too. A lot of things to be excited about. Any final parting thoughts before we dive right into the 2018 season?
My parting thought would be I have faith that this year is going to be better than last year. I really honestly think people are coming together. There's some unknowns that some of the teams are going to play against, but I have a lot of confidence. If you go back and read the blog post that I put up today, I really feel that it's real. Like I said, if a 36-year-old accountant who hasn't played hockey since 2005 can get called out of the stands at say the Chicago Blackhawks in like miracle style, I kind of feel like it's going to be our year, or at absolute least. You know, if the fates have got to be on our side. If freaking Nick P can get engaged, we've got to be on the right side of things.
No, that's good. Final words of wisdom there. If anyone ever watched hockey, we would all understand and get your references. But
Oh, you didn't hear that story? Oh,
no, this is America. Nobody watches hockey.
Sorry. Okay.
A sport that black people can't even compete in. Come on, like that's not entertaining.
Said a guy who's never seen a black dude at Expressway Park ever.
No, that's not true at all. In the tournament on Sunday, there was several black guys. The first game we played against was like mostly aging black men, and they beat us pretty handily. And I hugged a black guy on Sunday also because I told him that I thought he actually caught the ball, even though the umpire called the batter safe, and he really caught it, and he was upset. And I said, hey, man, I think he caught it for what it was worth. And we did that cool black guy handshake, like hug it out thing. I've always wanted to do Rob had said it first, but I've always kind of wanted to be like that cool slap handshake, pull it in for the quick hug thing, and I was able to pull it off flawlessly.
You haven't been this open-minded and international since you ate a taco with the dudes from John Morrell. And by taco, never mind.
Hey, well, on that racist note, we're going to cut it off right here. Seems like a good place to end this one. You never know what you're going to get surprised with on these things. Okay, well, have yourself a wonderful evening, and have yourself a wonderful 2018. And God willing, you'll end the season without getting fired as the coach, and we'll see some good success.
Go, good guys.
Have a good night.
See you, man. Bye.
Easy come. But I wonder, does he know that he's on a work PC? Hell, I know that he ain't all that bright, but I hope he clears the history because Jimmy Breen watches porn. Just like stats excite or roommate John.